So this movie was a roller coaster ride of emotions, both good and bad. Mostly bad, I'd say, with a lot of stress, although there were moments I was totally captivated by what was going on. I just was never quite sure if I was enjoying myself or having a good time. I think that was the hardest part to figure out. So, did I like it? Inconclusive. Is Jenna Ortega incredible in everything she does? Confirmed, fully. Did the movie make me want to cover my eyes and cringe for an hour and a half? 1000%, and that's exactly what I did. Spoilers ahead if you haven't seen it. I'm going to be pretty much deep diving this entire movie because, like I said, I've watched it, so you don't have to. Miller's Girl stars Jenna Ortega as Cairo Sweet, an 18-year-old high school writing protege who is aspiring to become a writer, and she wants to get accepted into Yale. Big dreams, she'll do it. By the way she speaks, which is incredibly pretentious, we know she's very intelligent. Martin Freeman plays Jonathan Miller, a high school creative writing teacher, so you can kind of see where this might be going, right? Cairo is, of course, drawn to Mr. Miller and his intellect, even reading his work that didn't seem to be very successful in the slightest. And of course, Mr. Miller is flattered greatly by all of the attention, which he doesn't seem to be receiving at home from his alcoholic wife, who is also a writer and very judgmental towards him and everything he does. He takes interest in Cairo. He wants to hone her skills, help her get accepted into a good university. She quotes his book to his face, and he quotes her essays off the top of his head also to her face. It's very weird and intimate. They're both obsessed with each other, we get that. And they're both slightly embarrassing people, but we'll move on quite quickly from that. Problems arise when he invites her to a poetry reading and even gives her special treatment in class by assigning her the midterm early. The topic, write in the style of an author of your choosing. We will return to this later. It will be very important. Now, while all of this is happening, Cairo's friend is around. She's called Winnie. We love Winnie. Winnie's the best character. She is morally ambiguous, as is, to be honest, the entire tone of the movie, and she has an ambiguous sexuality, to quote her. It is stated early on she's a lesbian, but then vows to sleep with one of her teachers, Mr. Fillmore. Cairo and Winnie are quite the double threat at this point. And around this time, I was beginning to speculate where the movie was going and everyone's motivations. I was predicting that Cairo and Winnie were going to team up and take these men down, but I was wrong. Instead, you start to sense pretty quickly that Winnie might just be in love with Cairo, and things start to take a turn from there. Anyway, Mr. Miller continues to cross the line. He attends the poetry reading with Cairo, incredibly inappropriate, and then after accidentally taking her phone one day at school, he returns it to her house by himself. And then they kiss in the pouring rain. Bad, very, very bad. Not great. This, of course, sparks something inside of Cairo. She wants him more now. She is obsessed, and for her midterm, she writes in the style of an erotic novelist and essentially writes a story about herself and Mr. Miller. It's pretty much smut, just smut, which is incredibly vulgar and inappropriate. But she's 18, being led on by her teacher, and her frontal lobe isn't fully developed yet. So there's only one person to blame here, really. Mr. Miller shuts her down, and this causes Cairo to become very conniving. She convinces her friend Winnie to cross the line with her teacher, Mr. Fillmore. She does this by telling her that they should make out and send him a picture. Of course, for Winnie, this holds more weight, with her being in love with Cairo. The kiss goes on for a while. The picture's already been taken. They keep kissing and then Cairo bites her. I found that whole scene quite odd. Didn't understand why she bit her. But at that point, we're starting to see Cairo descend into a dark place. Cairo then does the unspeakable. She hands in her midterm to the vice principal, hell-bent on destroying Mr. Miller's life, which she does very successfully. His wife turns on him, and his job is now gone. This is essentially the entire plot of the movie. Now, I had issues with the film. It was fun at times, but also incredibly stressful to watch unfold. But I also felt it held back. I wasn't satisfied with the ending, and they allude to so much more that never comes to fruition. For instance, they constantly reference the woods Cairo walks through alone and how she is like a ghost. She even states she is the scariest thing in the woods. I guess in hindsight, this is alluding to her being fearless and warning us how far she might go with her schemes. But it also had us questioning what might happen in the woods. I was guessing that Mr. Miller was going to do something in the woods after being exposed for what he did. I thought perhaps he might do something to Cairo, but that never happened. I also felt like we never got a big climactic finish. It was a very subtle ending, just with the two meeting in the last scene as they're both going, I assumed, to some kind of hearing about what was going on. They stare at each other, and then she turns and walks away, and that's the end. Perhaps that is more in line with what would happen. Who knows? I just didn't feel fulfilled with this movie. I felt like there was so much more they could have done. And like I said, they alluded to a lot, and there was no payoff with that. I just think it was a little too simple. Too simple, there wasn't enough substance. And overall, I just don't think it was very good. The one thing it had going for it was its cast. Phenomenal cast. Writing at times was good. The build-up to certain moments was very good. And then the payoff was not there, unfortunately. So that is pretty much Miller's Girl. I personally would give it maybe 2.5 out of 5 or a 3. 3's being generous. Watch it if you feel. I mean, I'll never deter someone from watching a film unless it is Madam Web, but even then, we should all watch and laugh. Let me know if you've seen Miller's Girl. Leave me your review in the comments. And click up here if you want to watch my review of Furiosa, which did not go down too well on YouTube, unfortunately. Imagine having an opinion that doesn't align with everyone else's. Yeah, people weren't happy with me because I didn't like Furiosa. But I understand why people would like it. Again, it's just an opinion. We're all not all gonna like the same things, and that's okay. Anyway, I will see you in the next video.